go over some of the ways in which employers can minimize the risk associated with some of the holiday party activities, um, whether it be a small party that they have on site at their work location or an event that they hold off site at, say, a restaurant. Um, some of these risks, um, one of them, which is a big one, and it's sort of controversial, is whether or not you eliminate or reduce the use of alcohol at these parties. I know typically, whenever you have a holiday party, you tend to see more often alcohol at the party, but what more and more employers are finding out is, having that alcohol is leading to more issues, kind of the same issues that Scott had addressed for us earlier. One thing is you want to make sure that the attendance at the holiday party is voluntary. It's holiday. We talk about some religious things that occur. You just want to make sure that it's not mandatory. If they want to attend the party, that's great. If they don't want to attend the party, that's fine. You encourage them to attend it, but let's make sure that you always make sure that every employee understands that attendance is voluntary. If you're going to serve alcohol, and you can't avoid it altogether, one recommendation is that you limit it to beer and wine and avoid the sort of hard liquor. It just seems to minimize the number of problems that you have with intoxication. It doesn't eliminate it altogether, but it of course minimizes it. And a lot of people don't like beer or wine, so you're going to cut down on the number of people who are drinking to begin with. One question is whether or not you schedule the party during the lunch hour or at a dinner hour or late at night. Believe it or not, this has a huge impact on reducing the risk. If you do it during a lunch hour, people are less likely to get intoxicated because, once they leave the party, they still have other things to do with their families or, appointments, things like that. Where if you schedule it as a dinner or a late night event, it tends to, it tends to go on all night long. And so you want to make sure that you're controlling the behavior of your employees. If possible, and this is of course whether or not there's money in the budget, you want to allow employees to bring their spouses or a guest or even children. And of course that depends on the nature of the party and the venue. I mean, if you're going to have it at a bar, obviously you're not going to bring your children there, but studies show that if you tend to have your spouse with you or another guest with you, you see a reduced amount of, sexual harassment or intoxication. So that's something you want to think about. The next one would be, before the party, providing each employee with a reminder of the important company rules that apply for the event. Those sexual harassment policies, whether or not it's appropriate to be intoxicated in a professional setting, things like that. Those things should be already included in your company handbook. But if for whatever reason they're not, it's something that you want to just make sure that you pull them out again and sort of remind people of those important policies. And for those individuals who just really aren't going to follow the rules, you want to make sure you have a backup plan. You want to arrange for rides home, whether it be through Uber, Lyft, taxi, shuttle, or even, sometimes you have a manager that's in charge of sort of a project manager that's in charge of just paying attention to, what's kind of going on at the party and making sure that there's no one leaving that is intoxicated. It's a huge risk for employers if you have them at a holiday party and they are intoxicated and they leave and for whatever reason they do get into an accident and injure themselves or someone else. So it's definitely something that you want to pay attention to.
Julie, can I just
Yep,
add something real quick?
absolutely.
So I just want to kind of throw out the point that obviously we're talking about a lot of trade-offs here. You certainly risk upsetting people by your decisions in some of
Yeah.
these regards. Some people would rather have more alcohol than less, more variety than less. Some people would prefer to bring their spouses and or children. Other people would prefer not to bring their spouses and or children. If we're being entirely honest, some spouses would rather not be invited for various reasons. So again, this is not a playbook for how to run the perfect holiday party. This is just, the ways that you can try to make subtle improvement on your risk exposure, as you go through it. But you'll have to obviously weigh your circumstances and what's expected, what's required, who you have to make happy, and what you can tolerate.
As I was putting together this presentation, something that I did see was there was a lot of companies now that are putting together almost a project group that are, actually asking some of the employees what are the most important things that they see in a holiday party and what are the things that where would you like it to be, is alcohol important to you. A lot of companies are moving towards going to like a Dave and Buster's or something like a more of a group event, instead of something that's focused just around alcohol. So just throwing it out there.